Okay, we're recording. This is Cornelius Van Dorp, Dr. Van Dorp at your service. Today I'm going to tell you about our crop circle journey to England in the year 2001. Being a medical doctor, I'd always been sort of interested in the crop circle phenomenon from a medical point of view or a dermatology point of view. What was this strange skin rash that was appearing on the fields of England in the decades from 1980, 1990s and 2000s? So I made a series of 3 journeys to the crop circles. And the third year, 2001, there was a group of kiwis, 5 kiwis, and we met a local man from Somerset, John Woolard, and he gave us a bit of an introduction into the crop circle phenomenon. So what could be the diagnosis? Was it really these elderly servicemen, Doug and Dave, making these thousands of fantastic patterns year in and year out, as we sort of tended to read about in the newspapers, or could there be something else that the authorities were trying to conceal from us? So these are the questions that were on my mind when I went to the crop circles in those years, and especially this year of 2001. And if you want to find out, come and join me and my companions. But first, let's check out a series of the crop circles that have been recorded through the 1980s and 1990s. Crop circles have in fact been recorded right throughout history. For example, there's the well-known example of the mowing devil of 1687. And as the story went, the farmer was offered a very low price for his oats, and in response to the offer, he was heard to say that he'd rather have that the devil took his oats. And that night there were some strange lights in the field, and in the morning there was this strange circle. And when the farmer went to inspect the circle, he became very sick thereafter, and so it was thought that this was a very malign, evil influence, and it was all produced in a 1687 woodcut known as the mowing devil. But this spate of patterns in the modern era really started well, the first ones actually started in New Zealand in the 1960s, when there were some circles made in small manuka, small shrubby bush, and the DSIR, the Department of Scientific and Industrial Research of the New Zealand government, actually did some research on these circles, and they found that the soil in the circles would not grow anything afterwards. So and it was like these manuka were laid flat in spiral circles, but they were kind of baked with kind of a microwave, and they were sort of like dehydrated instantaneously from the inside out, like a kind of a microwave sort of phenomenon. And then in Australia in the late 60s there was some more, and then like in it wasn't until the 1980s and 1990s that they started in England around Stonehenge and Avebury in those southern counties in the chalklands of southern England. In the 1980s they were mainly in circles and lines, very simple sort of patterns. But then in 1991 we had the famous mother of all pictograms at Barbary Castle, and then since then, through the 1990s and the 2000s now, we've witnessed an ever more complex sequence of exquisite mandalas and mathematical fractals, and many of these have been recorded by our friend and photographer Lucy Pringle. leaving committee.
Yeah.
Keep the home fires burning.
Yeah, Bell Rock, what a beauty.
Brief stop in the red rocks of Arizona.
Beautiful view.
Spell Rock. And here's the chapel in the rocks, an exquisitely beautiful place. And Jan with our white convertible Jaguar before hitting Heathrow.
The team.
In our VW.
The Kiwi team.
At the barge inn, a local watering hole, and nearby our first crop circle, a beautiful 8-pointed star.
Our first crop circle. Gary tramping up the hill there to get a good shot of the circle up the top. And our friend John Woolard talking to some Japanese people.
John was a never-ending fund of stories, regaling us with tall tales about the crop circle makers and local legends.
Something's wrong with my camera.
Oh, the smile has walked past.
It's alright, carry on, walk past.
The smile has walked past.
Honestly, I'm just about delirious now. I can't believe what I've been through over this. I'll put up with the most
Are we going up to that circle?
Sounds like it. And what do you think?
No, I'm going to give it a miss.
Are you?
You know, really.